It started with a strange noise, a dull thud, a vibration in the frozen ground. June 21st, 2022, Yukon Territory, Canada. Gold miner Travis Mudry was digging permafrost when his excavator hit something soft. Soft isn't normal in frozen ground. He stopped the machine, got out, and started digging with his hands. And then he saw it. Tiny ears, wrinkled skin, a trunk, a baby woolly mammoth, perfectly preserved. She still had her tail, her eyelashes, her internal organs. Her name was Nunsho, big baby animal. In the TR Ondik, Watchin language. She had died 30,000 years ago, but she looked like she'd laid down just yesterday. It was the most complete mammoth ever discovered in North America. And she was just the beginning, because 8,000 kilometers away, in the vast wilderness of Siberia, something even more impossible was being uncovered in a place locals call the mouth of Hella gaping crater in the earth. Where the permafrost is collapsing Russian, scientists made a discovery that shook the world. They found Yuka, a baby mammoth frozen for nearly 50,000 years, preserved so perfectly that her brain, muscles, skin, and blood vessels were all intact. And yes, actual liquid blood was found inside her veins. Think about that. A creature that died when Neanderthals still walked the earth, still had flowing blood. Scientists pulled it from her body using a syringe. Not fossilized, not dried up. Real, fresh blood, older than any written word, still liquid. How was this even possible? Permafrost, nature's perfect freezer. And it wasn't just mammoths. In 2018, scientists discovered a small Ice Age foaler prehistoric baby horse frozen for 42,000 years in Siberia. Its golden coat was still glossy, its hooves intact, its organs full. When they opened its body, dark red liquid poured out. Not mud, not mineral fluid. Blood. Creatures that had once run beside the earliest humans were now lying perfectly preserved, as if asleep. And scientists weren't just studying them, they were trying to bring them back. In 2021, a company called Colossal Biosciences announced an audacious goal to use ancient DNA to recreate the woolly mammoth. Not a clone, but a hybrid, born from Asian elephants and engineered to resemble their Ice Age cousins. Using CRISPR gene editing, they've already made over 45 genetic modifications to elephant DNA. They've created induced stem cells, built early-stage embryos. Their goal, a living mammoth-elephant hybrid by 2027. Real-life Jurassic Park, but colder, hairier, and real. Why? They say mammoths could help fight climate change by flattening tundra, promoting grass growth, and slowing permafrost melt. But make no mistake, this is resurrection science. And that raises a terrifying question. If we can bring back creatures that died 50,000 years ago, what does that mean for death itself? What does that mean for us? Because the same melting ice that's revealing these frozen miracles is also destroying them. Every year, ancient carcasses, human remains, and DNA samples melt into rivers, rot in sunlight, or are destroyed by scavengers before scientists ever reach them. We're in a race against timer, race against warming. The ice remembers everything, but it's forgetting fast. And there's another layer one that makes the story darker. Many of these discoveries aren't happening in sterile labs or global museums. They're happening in indigenous lands, and not all of them with permission. In Canada's Yukon, where Nunsho was found, the TR Ondik in people had to fight for involvement in her study. These are their lands, their ancestors, their stories to scientists she was a specimen. To the TR Undik, she was sacred, and in Siberia, where Russia's melting permafrost reveals Ice Age creatures almost monthly. Scientists often act without consulting the Ewenki, Yakut, and Chukchi, peoples who've lived there for thousands of years. Too many indigenous communities. Unearthing the dead without ceremony or consent is a deep violation. Imagine if someone dug up your great-grandmother for science and told you her DNA belonged to the world now. That's the tension bubbling under these frozen discoveries, because every time we find a creature frozen in the permafrost, we're not just digging up bones, we're digging up questions, about history, about morality, about memory, and about what comes next. Because here's the truth, life is finding a way back. Scientists have already stimulated biological activity in cells, from mammoths and foals, over 34,000 years old. They've observed enzymes starting to activate, proteins beginning to react, and tissue responding to temperature changes. We're not talking about fossils anymore. We're talking about systems that may still be capable of living. Cave bears, extinct for 15,000 years, have been found with noses intact, muscle tissue still red, heart still in place. Prehistoric wolves with full fur, fangs, and claws. Lions that once roamed the Arctic. Rhinoceroses with their horns still attached. They died long before pyramids rose or metal was forged. But here they are, looking like they died yesterday and now. We have their DNA. We have the tools. We have the motive. The real question is, do we have the wisdom? Because behind every frozen face is a story. A story of survival, extinction, pain, and power. A mother mammoth caught in the mud while trying to protect her calf. A foal separated from its herd during a snowstorm that lasted 1,000 years. A cave bear curled up, alone in the freezing dark, taking its final breath, and shot in the back, bleeding in the snow, thinking the cold would bury his name forever. But the ice doesn't bury, it preserves, and every time we peer into its depths, it whispers back, revealing stories we thought were lost. Stories we were never meant to see. But it's not done yet, because somewhere in the Arctic ice lies something else. Not a mammoth, not a man, but something older, stranger, a virus, a microbe, a threat frozen for 50,000 years, waiting for the warmth of human hands. In part 3, we open the final chamber, where forgotten pathogens stir, and ancient life wakes up hungry. The past is coming back, not just to be studied, but to interact. The ice remembers, but soon it may do more than whisper. It may bite.